Hello, butterflies, and welcome to Butterfly Tea Time. I hope you have your tea and your coffee ready. Today, we're celebrating and highlighting Miss Janay Towns, CEO of Lupies Unite. Hey, Janay, welcome to Tea Time. How are you?
Hi, thanks for having me. How's everyone?
Hey, Janay, we're good. How about you?
I'm hanging in there. I can't
That's
complain.
good. That's good.
So today we really wanted to highlight Janay. With holiday approaching, she's fast at work creating the lovely Loopy Holiday Special, which is a virtual holiday for everyone in the lupus community to share words of hope, different things, tips and tricks that have worked for them, self-care, and musical performances. So, Janay, everybody follows you for this lovely Loopy holiday special, and many of your viewers know you from Loopy Unite nonprofit. But many of the people in your community don't know how you got diagnosed with lupus or what your journey has looked like because you're always helping everyone else.
Oh yeah.
When were you?
So I was diagnosed. It will be 20 years, February 8th of 2024.
Wow.
Um, and I
Wow.
can, yeah, 20 years. That is a long time.
That's a blessing,
Um,
though.
yeah, I was diagnosed. I was 15. I was a sophomore in high school. And the first symptom that I suffered with was feet pain. I was a dancer, so the high school I went to had a dance program, and I was constantly on my feet. Plus, I worked on the weekends at McDonald's, and my feet would just hurt, like they would just ache really, really bad, to the point of there would be times I couldn't really get out the bed or walk. Um, so my mom, she took me to the foot doctor, and at first they're like, she's overworking her feet. Let's just write her out of dance, write her out of gym class, and then see what happens. Well, long story short, it didn't really help. Um, the pain just got worse. In the beginning of 2004, um, what happened was I was getting off of work, and my mom sent my sister to come pick me up from work. And being as though that weekend we didn't have any school, she asked if I wanted to go to a teen club. So even though my feet was killing me, I'm like, yeah, I'm going. You're not going to leave me out. So I went, and by the end of the night, I literally could not walk. They had to carry me out the car, carry me out, put me into my mom's car. From that night all the way up until like 3 weeks, my health just started declining. It went from me not able to really walk to not eating. I lost a lot of weight. Um, I was real weak, fatigued. It was literally like just going downhill. Um, and one Sunday, I had a teacher come because by this time I missed 3 weeks of school. So my math teacher came to, help get me caught up. But she came and she's like, yeah, we're not doing no work today. Like, she's 2 weeks. This is not my Janae that I know. So she was like, yeah, she has to go to the emergency room. So that night, my parents took me to the emergency room. The only thing I remember them saying was, she's really, really sick. And I think maybe like 2, 3 days after that is when they diagnosed me and said that I had lupus. Um, lupus nephritis, stage 4 lupus nephritis. Um, I never heard of lupus. I did not know what lupus was. And when you're diagnosed, it's not like they go in full detail. So I pretty much had to learn and figure things out as I was going through, my journey. Um, which to me is kind of crazy that they don't really
Educate
give
you.
you the knowledge and the
Mhm.
insight, that we need to know when we're diagnosed. It's just pretty much, okay, you have lupus and that's that. They don't tell you, you're going to have other underlying illnesses that comes with that. They don't really tell you about all the medication. It's just pretty much you got to figure it out on your own. Um, and that's what I've been doing these last 20 years. It's figuring out as I go. I haven't always been this vocal. I would say it took a good 10 to 12 years for me to accept the fact that I have lupus and that I'm going to have it for the rest of my life. Because I know people look at me now and they're like, you're so vocal, you're so transparent. I'm like, I was not like that in the beginning. I used to be so embarrassed. I wouldn't want to tell no one or anything like that. And then one morning I woke up and I'm like, there's nothing for me to hide. Like, this is what I go through on a daily. And at that time, it was hard for me to try and hide what I was going through because I was
Yeah.
in and out the hospital like every single week. Um, there'll be times where I would start school, but then I would have to withdraw because it would just be too much. And it was just a lot at that time. And then the fact that a lot of times people that have lupus, you can't tell. They look normal. So I would have
Yeah.
people look at me and they're like, you're not sick. Like, there's nothing wrong with you. And I'm just like, yeah, if only you knew. Um, but I can say that through these past almost 20 years, having lupus has definitely taught me how strong of a person I am and has definitely taught me my limits.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
and it's taught me the word no.
Yeah.
I still
Yeah.
struggle with saying no.
Mhm.
Yeah.
To pretty much a lot of the times it's my family, when they ask or say, oh, can you do this? Can you do that? I never say no. It's always okay, sure. And then I'm like, why did I say yes? Like I always find myself in situations where they'll ask me something and automatically I say yes. And then once I realize, I'm like, wait a minute, why did I just say yes to that? Knowing
Mhm.
like because lupus is so unpredictable, you just never know what is going to happen. Um, so that's something I still struggle with is saying no and knowing my limits. Because even though I've been dealing with it for so long, and I'm sure some of you guys can relate, um, knowing our limits, we still push and do more than what we should be doing.
Mhm.
But it's just how we are. Um, I'm a planner. I plan everything. And these last couple of years, it's been really difficult planning stuff because my health has just been so up and down where I'm just like, okay, we're not going to plan anything. Um, and then when the pandemic happened, I'm just like, okay, then, what am I going to do? What's the next step? But then the virtual, the Zooms and going live on social media, that became, for me, that became a good platform.
Mm.
Um, because as you guys know, I'm vocal, I'm transparent when it comes to my journey. I pretty much share any and everything when it comes to my lupus journey.
Mhm.
At times people will be like, why did you just share that on social media? And I'm like, listen, you may not get it, but there's a reason why. Um,
Yeah,
but
that was for someone else.
right,
There you
right,
go. Not supposed to get it.
exactly,
It ain't for them.
exactly. But I don't really get questioned now because they get it. Every once in a while, my sister will be like, Janay, now why did you go on and say that? And I'm just like, don't worry about it. Like I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But I definitely, yeah, these last 20 years has been a roller coaster. Um, but I'm pushing through.
Yes, you are, and you're inspiring
Yeah.
so many. Janae, is this how is COVID? And when we went into isolation, is that when you first came out with the concept of a lovely loopy holiday special so that people could
Yes,
still celebrate and feel connected?
yes. I came up with that. It was November of 2020. Um, in the height of the pandemic. And I just thought one night, I want to do something for the autoimmune community, not just us Lupies, but the autoimmune community and anyone
That's
going through any type of illness,
mm-hmm.
especially during the holiday season. I know for a lot of autoimmune warriors that the holiday season, the cold season, is the worst. I know for
Mm-hmm.
me living in New Jersey, it's horrible because it's super, super cold. My joints are stiff. There's times where I'm just like, yeah, I'm not getting out the bed today. Um, so it's a time of year where I feel that a lot of us need that extra pick me up,
Mm-hmm.
boost our spirits. And I came up with that idea like, okay, well, if I put something together where we'll have motivational speakers, we'll have lupus influencers, we can have musicians, dancers, spoken word artists, and they can all just give us a 2-minute video of motivational messages or inspiring quotes, stuff that
Yeah.
will just help boost our moods, even if it's for an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
That was my whole purpose behind doing the holiday special. So it's more so to lift everyone's spirits, let them know you're not alone, especially those who may not have the support system like others have. I've been lucky and blessed enough to have a great support system. So I don't know what it's like to not have someone to lean on or support.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But there's so many Lupies that I come in contact with that don't have that support. So for me, I just for me it's like, okay, it's my duty to be that support for them and be
Mm-hmm.
there and give them whatever motivation or inspiration that they need, just to let them know they're not alone, because battling this horrific illness it takes a lot out of you, and it's
Yeah.
definitely not for the weak. um I think a lot of people think, oh, they have lupus, they're faking, or it's not real, and I'm just like, it's very real. um but people don't really know about it because they're not talking about it.
And we
And
cover
that's
it so well.
right.
Yeah. That part.
And
Yeah.
a lot of us cover it really, really well. Um, to the point where there's times where I'm like, okay, they have lupus, right? And they have lupus, but they're doing this, they're doing that. Um, but it is definitely an illness that is misunderstood and misrepresented. And that's why I'm so vocal about it, and I'm always talking about it whenever, I get a chance, rather if
Yeah.
it's, on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. My goal is to, get people talking about it because it needs to be talked about.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I agree with you. And I do think it's because they may see us in those moments, like they'll see a video or something, but they don't know how much energy it took to do that
To
video.
make that video.
Because
Or
we may
to
have been in
look
bed all
pleasing.
day
Yep.
and just put on some makeup or some lip gloss or whatever, and like, okay, I'm gonna do something inspiring to encourage others. And then we do that video and we're tired and we go back to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what they don't see.
Or you shaking while you putting your makeup on.
That too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you trying to cover up
Yeah.
your spots and your butterfly rash and your puffiness. It's just you
Or
don't
you
get to
sat there
show
for 8 hours. You could have sat there for 8 hours thinking about this video that you were going to do. I've done that before. Just sit there for eight
Yeah.
hours thinking
dreading.
about it.
Yeah.
20 minutes to get ready. It looks like you're just living your day that way.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. And then with lupus, like you have brain fog and it's like articulating and expressing yourself can be challenging. And so sometimes people don't
Yes.
even understand because, we live in a society where people prejudge and they're like, well, you can't be that sick, but they only see a few seconds. They don't know your whole life journey. I mean, some of the
Right.
stuff that you've lived through, they couldn't even imagine because they see that few seconds. They're like, well, it's nothing wrong with them, but in actuality, you've already been through a lot.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And we tend to compare ourselves to each other as Lupies too. Even as
Yeah.
autoimmune warriors. I'll see another warrior and be like, she don't look like she
Yeah.
went to the what? You know, why I can't look like she look? Why
Hmm.
it's so
Yeah.
hard for me to get up? Why I can't work a full-time job and take care of my family? Why I have to be
Hmm.
on all this medicine and they on one pill? Why I have
Right.
to be the one with 8 diseases and they just got one? You start to really go through that in your mind, but you have to remember to reassure yourself that you're enough the whole time,
Absolutely.
despite what you're facing.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you never know. They may do actually have 4 or 5 because it's very
Exactly.
rare for anybody with lupus, honestly, or any other autoimmune disease to only have one.
Yeah. I don't think I ever
Yeah.
met anyone that just has one autoimmune.
Because
I
when you
think
turn,
everyone I come encounter with, they have multiple autoimmune illness.
Autoimmune diseases.
Yeah.
Sister disease. Yep.
yeah. So
To each
what
other.
happens, I think what happens is that we may focus on one that's giving us the most problems in the moment. Like
Yeah.
lupus has destroyed my bones from
Yeah.
prednisone use. Lupus
Yeah.
has
That's what I'm
destroyed
going through.
my kidneys.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
so it was aggressive. It affected my lungs. So, but there are other things that are sidebar, like
Mm-hmm.
fibromyalgia. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we could list other stuff because you
Yeah.
have, I mean, most of us, and this is, being honest, we have a team of specialists. We don't just see a rheumatologist.
Yeah. I have
We got a
Exactly.
list.
a list.
A
Right.
whole list of doctors. It's like a full-time job.
Absolutely.
It is.
It is. The phone calls, like I literally had to call this morning. I called my pharmacist because I'm like, okay, I know I called my pain medicine in and they didn't text me or anything. So I'm like, okay, let me call the doctor's office.
Mm-hmm.
I call the doctor's office and she tells me they declined the request for my refill for my medicine. And I'm just like, you got to be kidding. Not today. I don't have
Yeah.
no pain medicine. Like, what do you mean they denied it? And she's like, well, because you haven't seen the doc. I said, I see her in December. Like, huh? So she's like, oh, well, someone's going to call you back. So I'm just like, okay, so what am I supposed to do in the meantime?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like,
And yeah.
it's about to be fall. It's already cold. I'm already dealing with, having
Exactly.
to wait to hear from when I'm going to have my hip replaced to now where I'm just like, okay, I don't know how long this is going to take. And I know, I think it was 2 months ago, my pain medicine was on back order for like a month and a half.
And that's
Oh
So
my God.
when it's on back order, it's not much they can do. And it had caused me to, I was in the hospital for like a good week and a half because I had no pain medicine.
Oh my gosh.
oh,
And it's
that's
just
horrible.
like, okay, like, so now I'm just like, I don't know how long it's going to take for them to figure it out, whatever they have to figure out. But I'm going to need for them to figure it out as soon as possible because I need my pain medicine. And granted, I hate taking pain medicine.
Yeah.
Like, I
But you
legit
need
hate
it.
taking it. But because, yeah, my pain has been through the roof these past couple of months. And it's mainly, because of my hip and the avascular necrosis. Like I need the hip replaced. But, waiting to hear back from my ortho, the issue with my blood counts being low, like you said, it's a legit full-time job.
Yeah.
There's times where I'm on the phone all day. I'm calling the doctor's office. I'm calling, scheduling tests, making appointments. Like, it's definitely draining.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're sharing that because so many times
Yeah.
people, they see us and they don't understand the stuff like what happens in between, like you said, avascular necrosis. Your rheumatologist may not want to write another script for pain medicine because he's like, well, that's because I know it's the prednisone caused it, but you're gonna have to see the ortho doctor. You're gonna have to do that, and that's something that we don't talk about, the maneuvering and the shifting that goes on when you get referred because you do have several things that's going on that's happening in your body.
Right.
One doctor
Yeah.
does not want to write a script for that,
Yeah.
and that's
Right.
chaotic.
Mm.
And that's
Yeah.
something that we don't really address, but I'm glad that you did mention that because I feel your pain for that because I was having a conversation with my rheumatologist and was like, well, that's the orthopedic doctor because I also have a vascular necrosis. And it's like,
Mm.
well, they can't get you in to do a procedure even though you don't really want to do the procedure, but what are you supposed to do
Right.
in the meantime when winter hits and the temperature
Yeah.
drops? That pain level is like,
Yeah.
through the roof. Like there's no words for it. Like you can't even have weight on that part of the body. So it's like
Mm.
this is unbearable.
And the thing is, they don't, when you go to the emergency room for avascular necrosis, they don't do anything. The only thing that they will do is just try to get your pain under control. And so, like, for
Yeah.
me, when I was in a hospital, I was on two different medications. They
Mm,
gave me, I think it was 15 milligrams of oxycodone, and then they gave me 2 milligrams of Dilaudid. And
mm-hmm.
even still,
You said 2 milligrams of the
two,
line?
yeah, 2 milligrams,
Two.
two. And even still, I was still in pain.
And that's what you be trying to explain to them because they're like, this medicine, you took this, you should be sleeping. I'm like, if you're in enough pain, you're not getting any sleep. I don't know how to explain
None
it
at all.
to these doctors because they're like, you're fully awake and you're alert and you're awake because you're in pain and the pain will not let you sleep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they don't get that.
They
They do
really
not get
don't.
that. And
And
like
Mm.
that's
me, the issue with my blood count, because I'm anemic, I have a low platelet count and
mm-hmm.
I'm anemic. And my ortho doctor is like, well, your counts have to be at a 10. My baseline is a 7, 8. And I'm just like, well, transfuse me or do something. Like, this is what, the third year that I've been waiting for my hip to be replaced. Like, this
Okay, now
should
you're
have been
making me nervous.
replaced.
Now you're making me nervous with that because I'm also anemic and I do need to have actually need a knee replacement a couple.
See, it
But
depends. I think it depends on the surgeon because
Yeah.
I've always been anemic. I've always had issues with my platelets.
mm-hmm.
And I had my left hip replaced back in 2015. I had my right shoulder replaced in 2016. I did not go through half of what I'm going through now with, my blood counts. Both times they gave me blood transfusions before, during, and after, and gave me platelets as well. So that's why I'm looking at this doctor like, okay, doc, my counts are not going to go up to a 10 on its own. Like, that's just not going to happen. And like, my other doctors have even said it, and they're like, why won't he just? And I'm like, I don't know. And then everyone is like, well, get another doctor. And I'm like, listen, it's not that simple.
It's a process.
It's not that simple, especially when you're dealing with someone like me who's has a severe case of lupus, with the anemia and the ITP. A lot of doctors are scared to look at my chart and say, okay, Miss Towns, well, we could do it. No, they will not. I've had doctors say, yeah, Miss Towns, you might have to see someone else because it's a lot. And I'm like, okay. And I get it because it is a lot, but I'm just like, doc, I just replaced the hip. Like,
so do you think that's what it is? You think your doctor is nervous? Because that's also my concern when they start looking through my medical history and I get referred to a new doctor. I'm like, okay, let's address what's going on now. I know you have to look at my medical history. Yes, everything that you see in my medical history is true, but let's deal with what's going on now.
See, that's the thing. The doctor that I see now I was referred to him because the ortho that I was seeing winded up leaving and moving somewhere. He referred me to this specific ortho because he's an oncology ortho. So he said, being as though, with everything that I have going on, he thought he would be the perfect fit. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, that does make sense because he's dealing with, cancer of the bones.
Absolutely.
But no, like, I'm 3 years later still waiting for him to say, okay, Miss Towns, let's schedule your date. And I'm just like, okay. I don't know if he is scared. Like, I legit don't know what it is. I actually
do you think that you may need to
Go ahead.
Do you think you should tell him about the stuff that was done in the past? Maybe that'll help, because sometimes even with the doctor not be aware, or they may not have thought about it, and when you bring it to their remembrance, like, I wasn't being a smart ass, but I've had conversations with doctors that was like, well, in the past they did blah 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 blah, and so then the doctor's like, I didn't think about that, but that's a good idea.
That's the thing, he knows,
because you know that you received.
He knows.
Well, I don't know why he's this good at this.
Exactly. I'm just like, I don't know what it is. He's read my encyclopedia, because that's what I call my hospital records, because it's legit an encyclopedia. He, he even knows the surgeon who did both my left hip and my right shoulder. So that's why I'm just like, okay, something's it's not adding up. So hopefully next week when I see him, he can tell me something, because yeah, I cannot go another winter with this hip. And then I think because I need my hip done, it's putting more strain on my knees. So now my knees are like killing me, which they've always hurt, but it's never been this bad. So I know they're going to have to wind up doing my knees as well. But with the knees is different, because they're worried because of my age. They're like, oh, well, you're just too young for the knee replacement. I'm just like, okay, but I still have avascular necrosis in my knee. So what do you want me to do? But
so what do y'all tell? Because my situation is different. I'm just dealing with a doctor who wants to push me to get a procedure after the procedures have not worked in the past. So I've had to learn how to be a better advocate for myself and to take my power back and speak up for myself um, when it comes to them invading my body and offering up procedures that they guarantee is going to make me feel better, you know. Um, Taking that into consideration, what do you guys say to yourselves to cope when you're at 10? When the pain is at 10, what are you saying? What mantra are you repeating to yourself? Or what is it that you're saying to yourself that keeps you in the fight, that keeps you feeling like you can take one more minute of it?
Um, I think for me, I would say I lean on music, gospel music in particular. Um, and I will read, I will look up certain scriptures in the Bible to read, and write down as well. Um, but yeah, I listen to gospel music and I pray. Now there are times where I just legit scream
Mm,
because there are times where I'm just like, you know what, I'm not in a praying mood. I don't want to look nothing up in the Bible. Like I'm over this. Um and I'll scream or I'll throw something. Like I'll
mm,
go outside. 'Cause my mom, she has a lot of land. So I'll literally go outside and throw something. Um but yeah, I that's what I for me that's what I do. And sometimes depending on the situation, um I'll go live on Instagram or Facebook. There's been plenty of times when, you know, I will go live because I need to vent or rant.
release. Yeah,
Yeah. And
you
for
need to let
me,
it
doing
go.
that on social media is a coping mechanism
Mm-hmm.
because I get a lot of feedback that way.
Yeah.
So, for me, that's what I do. I know a lot of people, they're not comfortable with going live and,
Mm-hmm.
sharing what they're going through.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but for me, it's definitely something that I do often, especially if I'm like real angry or the doctor some piss me off, which is often.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I will go live and just talk, and then afterwards, I kind of feel better.
Mm-hmm. You feel lighter.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
Janay has been
Go
actually
ahead.
reaching people throughout the globe, not only getting behind her mission, but also connecting with different people with all autoimmune throughout the globe, giving them support. And we're actually rearing into her lovely Lupies holiday special. And we'd really like to know, as we highlight you today and all the works that you've done throughout the lupus community, Janay, how we can get behind you and how we can support what you're doing this season.
Okay, yay. So the third annual Lovely Loopy holiday virtual special will be December 17th this year. It will be airing on our website, www.loopiesunite.com. And we
Yeah.
will also have it on our YouTube channel. I'm going to try my best this year to put it on Facebook. Um, so we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, they don't give me any flack, but it goes smoothly.
Yeah.
We are currently looking for sponsors. Um, So if there's anyone that would like to sponsor or donate, and in this instance, it doesn't necessarily have to be monetary. It can be, you can donate blankets, heating pads, or whatever you can donate.
Yeah.
Because this year we will be helping a single parent with lupus in need.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So yeah, you can donate. I have to give you guys. I gotta figure out. I don't. I'll keep you guys posted on where to donate the items. Um, but to donate monetary, um, right now you can. Do I have? I don't even know if I know my cash yet. I think it's Lupies Unite
So
04.
we can post, yeah, we'll post that below in the
Yeah.
comments. Your Butterfly Glitter is actually going to be donating a self-care package. It's going to have butterfly nectar in it. It's going to have beauty products, hair curlers, and then Shantae is actually going to be donating her book. And Shantae wrote an amazing book all about self-healing and growth. And she wrote this also being a lupus warrior herself. So she's going to be donating that. And Shantae is actually going to be doing an amazing workshop coming up September 30th. If you guys want to join this, it's annual suicide awareness month. And this is going to tie into Shantae's book of self-help and healing and finding your enough. And Shantae, you want to give us the details about your workshop, which we shared in Butterfly Glitter earlier this week?
Sure. The most important detail you already mentioned, which was that it's benefiting Suicide Prevention Month. All the funds are going towards that effort. So the tickets are, when you register, is basically pay what you can. You pay what you can, and the donations are donated to the Suicide Prevention Resource Center. It's from 12 to 2 Eastern Standard Time, and it'll be just over Zoom, just women getting together for girl talk, girl space, girl time, just connecting, playing some games. There'll be giveaways. We just want to create an environment for healing, create an environment for people just to feel empowered and loved and cared for and ready to just take their life back, y'all. So, also, my girls, Felicia and Delibra, will be speaking too. So, it's not just me. All three of us will be hosting and just having a good time. So I'm excited about it. I hope that you guys register and join us and have fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, ladies, it's always a gift to be sharing different things that we've gone through in life to help other women throughout the globe and throughout the community to find their enough. So I thank you, ladies, for all you do for our community. And until next time, fly free.